I knew something was wrong the moment I stepped into the ballroom. The air felt too thick, like trying to breathe underwater, and the champagne flute in my hand suddenly weighed 1,000 pounds. That's when I saw her. My wedding dress. My goddamn wedding dress on another woman's body. I froze mid-step, my heel clicking against marble with a sound that seemed to echo only in my head. Around me, the engagement party continued. Laughter, clinking glasses, the soft hum of expensive people having expensive conversations. But I couldn't hear any of it clearly. Just white noise and the thundering of my pulse. Elena, you actually came! Adam's voice cut through my shock. My ex-husband materialized beside me, his familiar cologne hitting me a second before his words did. Didn't think you'd have the guts. I stared at him, this man I'd spent 6 years loving, trying to reconcile the Adam I knew with this stranger, wearing a smirk that never used to be there. Why is she wearing my dress? The question came out steadier than I felt. He laughed, taking a sip of his whiskey. Oh, that. Angela found it at this vintage boutique. Isn't that wild? She fell in love with it. Complete coincidence. Bullshit. Complete bullshit. That dress had been custom made, hand beaded, one of a kind. You know that's not possible. I kept my voice low, even as I felt heat crawling up my neck. Maybe you're not as unique as you think, Elena. His eyes flicked over me, assessing. Anyway, Angela wears it better. You've put on what, 15 pounds since the divorce? The comment landed like a slap. I'd lost weight, actually. 10 pounds of stress and heartache that melted away while I cried myself to sleep for months. I watched his new fiancée, young, blonde, laughing, twirling in my dress. My dress. The one thing I'd kept from our marriage besides scars. I'd sold it to a high-end consignment shop 3 months ago in what my therapist called a powerful act of closure. Some closure. Adam, you need to tell me the truth. Did you— Elena, I'm so glad you could make it. Olive, Adam's mother, appeared with her knife-edge smile. She'd never liked me. Too ambitious, too opinionated. Not the proper corporate wife her precious son deserved. Olive, I managed a tight smile. Congratulations on your future daughter-in-law. She looks familiar. Something flickered in her eyes. Satisfaction, maybe. Angela is exactly what Adam needs. You two were never quite right together, were you? Before I could respond, Adam's arm snaked around my waist, steering me away. His fingers dug into my hip, a warning. Let's get you a fresh drink, he muttered. You're making a scene. I wasn't, but I wanted to. At the bar, away from his mother, I turned to face him. Did you buy my dress from Eloise's Vintage? Did you specifically seek out my wedding dress for your child bride to wear to your engagement party that you invited me to? His smile never reached his eyes. You're being paranoid. It's just a dress. It's my dress. Was your dress. Past tense. Like our marriage. He signaled the bartender. Another whiskey, and whatever will calm her down. He nodded toward me. I don't need anything, I told the bartender. Then to Adam. Why invite me at all? To torture me? Closure, Elena. I thought you'd appreciate the gesture. Aren't you the one who's always talking about healthy boundaries and moving on? He mimicked my voice on the last words. Besides, everyone's here. Wouldn't look right if my ex-wife was the only person missing. Everyone. I glanced around and spotted familiar faces from our shared life. Colleagues from his investment firm, country club friends, even my former sister-in-law who'd sworn she'd always be my friend. All of them watching Angela float around in my dress, probably whispering about poor, discarded Elena. You're enjoying this, I realized aloud. Adam's smile widened. Don't be dramatic. I'm just celebrating my engagement. A burst of applause drew our attention. Angela stood in the center of the room, radiant in my dress, raising her glass. I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight, she gushed, and especially Elena for being so supportive. Not every ex-wife would be this gracious. All eyes turned to me, expectant, judging. I raised my glass mechanically, feeling like I was outside my body, watching this humiliation unfold. To new beginnings, I said, the words ash in my mouth. The crowd echoed the toast. Adam squeezed my shoulder, a gesture that might look friendly to others, but felt like a victory lap. See? Painless, he whispered. As people returned to their conversations, I caught Angela watching me. For just a second, her perfect smile slipped, revealing something calculating beneath. Then she winked at me before turning back to her admirers. That wink changed everything. This wasn't a coincidence. This was orchestrated. Every detail, the dress, the invite, the public humiliation, designed to break me. I set down my untouched drink. I need to use the restroom. Adam wasn't listening anymore, already drifting back toward his bride-to-be. I didn't head for the bathroom. Instead, I walked straight to the coat check, collected my things, and stepped into the cool night air. They thought they knew me, fragile, predictable Elena, who'd crumble under pressure. They were wrong. I pulled out my phone and made a call. Celeste, it's me. I need your help with something. He did what? Celeste's voice crackled through my phone as I paced the sidewalk outside the hotel. 3 a.m. And sleep wasn't even a distant possibility. Had his new fiancée wear my wedding dress to their engagement party. My actual wedding dress. That's not just petty, that's pathological. Celeste had been my friend since college, before Adam, before everything. She'd never liked him. And you're absolutely sure it was yours? The left shoulder strap had that tiny repair where it tore during our first dance. I'd know that dress anywhere. My breath clouded in the night air. And then Angela winked at me, like we were sharing a joke. What are you going to do? I stopped under a streetlight, watching moths batter themselves against the glass. I don't know yet, but I'm done being the sad ex-wife they can parade around for entertainment. Elena, Celeste's tone shifted. I get that you're hurt, but it's not about being hurt. It's about being played. I resumed pacing. He's trying to erase me, replace me with a younger model, and make me watch. And everyone's letting him. So don't let him. Walk away. Live your best life. That's the real revenge. I laughed, the sound harsh even to my own ears. That's what my therapist says. But you didn't see his face, Celeste. He's winning, and he knows it. A car drove past, its headlights briefly illuminating the empty street. For a moment, I saw my shadow stretched long against the pavement, thin and distorted, barely there. Come over, Celeste said finally. You shouldn't be alone right now. Celeste's apartment was exactly what I needed. Warm, cluttered, safe. She handed me a mug of tea spiked with something stronger and settled beside me on her worn couch. Start from the beginning, she said. Not just tonight. When did things with Adam start feeling off? I wrapped my hands around the mug. Remember that business trip to Vancouver last year? He came back different, distant, started working late, guarding his phone. I took a sip, welcoming the burn. I thought he was having an affair, but he swore he wasn't. Made me feel crazy for asking. Then, 3 months later, he tells me he needs space and moves out. And 2 months after that, he files for divorce, Celeste finished. Fast-tracked it, too. His lawyer was brutal. I stared into my tea. Then suddenly he's engaged to Angela, who's 10 years younger and works at his firm. The ink on our divorce papers was barely dry. Celeste tucked her legs under her. So you think they were together before? I know they were, but that's not even what bothers me most. I set down my mug. It's how he's rewriting our history, telling everyone I was cold, career-obsessed, didn't want children. But you put your promotion on hold when you were trying for a baby. 3 rounds of IVF, all while managing his mother's constant disappointment. My voice cracked. And now he has the nerve to parade around this girl wearing my wedding dress like some sick trophy. Celeste was quiet for a moment. What did you mean when you said you needed my help? I hesitated. I want the truth. About when their affair started. About what he's been telling people. I need to know if I've been the villain in his story all along. And then what? Then I decide if he deserves to keep his perfect new life intact. Celeste studied me. That doesn't sound like you, Elena. Maybe I'm tired of being me. I met her gaze. The me that everyone walks over. She reached for her laptop. I'm not helping you do anything crazy, but information? That I can do. She typed for a moment. Angela Kent, right? Let's see what social media tells us. We spent the next hour scrolling through Angela's Instagram, carefully curated photos of brunches, yoga poses, and, starting 8 months ago, subtle hints of a new relationship. No faces, just masculine hands holding coffee cups, the edge of a familiar watch. 8 months, I whispered. We were still together. Wait, look at this! Celeste pointed to a photo from last summer. Angela on a boat, Vancouver's skyline behind her. The caption, business trips don't have to be all business, with a winking emoji. Vancouver! My stomach clenched. That's when it started. Celeste clicked through to the comments. One caught my eye. Our secret's getting harder to keep. Worth it, though. From a private account with only Adam's initials. I need to sit down. You are sitting down. Then I need to stand up. I paced Celeste's living room. He was with her in Vancouver, while I was injecting myself with hormones and planning our future. Elena! My phone buzzed with a text. Unknown number. I saw you leave early. We should talk. There's more you don't know. Meet tomorrow? Wayne. Who's Wayne? Celeste asked, reading over my shoulder. Adam's colleague. Quiet guy, always seemed uncomfortable around me. I frowned at the message. Why would he want to talk to me? Could be a trap. Adam sending someone to see how you're handling things. I considered this. Or he could have information. Be careful. Celeste took my phone and typed a response. What kind of information? The reply came quickly. The kind that explains why she was wearing your dress, and why Adam's mother hates you so much, not over text. I looked at Celeste, something new unfurling in my chest. Not hope exactly, something sharper. I'm meeting him, I decided. Not alone, you're not. I need to do this myself. I took my phone back. But I'll meet him somewhere public, I typed. Tomorrow, noon, the coffee shop on 9th. His response was immediate. I'll be there. And Elena, bring the flash drive from your desk drawer. The one Adam doesn't know about. My blood went cold. I hadn't thought about that flash drive in months. It contained backup files from when I'd helped Adam organize his home office last year, including financial records I'd never opened. How does he know about that? Celeste whispered. I stared at my phone, mind racing. I don't know, but I'm going to find out. I arrived at the coffee shop 20 minutes early, flash drive heavy in my coat pocket. Sleep had been impossible after leaving Celeste's apartment. Instead, I'd gone home and dug through old boxes until I found it. A small black rectangle containing pieces of Adam's life I'd never examined. The barista had just set down my Americano when I spotted Wayne entering, scanning the room with nervous energy. He looked different outside the office context, more human in jeans and a worn leather jacket than the crisp suits Adam insisted his team wear. He noticed me and approached, hands shoved deep in his pockets. You came, he said, sliding into the seat across from me. You made it sound important. Wayne ordered coffee, then leaned forward. I wasn't sure you'd bring it. He nodded toward my pocket, where I'd been unconsciously fingering the flash drive. I haven't decided if I'm giving it to you. I studied his face for signs of deception. How do you even know about it? Adam's been looking for it. Tore apart his office last week, then called Angela in a panic. Wayne's coffee arrived, but he ignored it. He thinks you might have taken it deliberately. Yeah, I didn't. I trailed off, remembering. We were organizing his home office before a tax audit. I backed up his financial documents as a precaution. Did you ever look at those files? I shook my head. It was just routine. Why would I? Wayne took a sip of his coffee, grimacing at the heat. Because Adam's been running 2 sets of books for years, one for the IRS, one for his clients. The words didn't make sense at first. Adam was arrogant, controlling, unfaithful. But a criminal? That's a serious accusation, I said carefully. It's why I left the firm 3 months ago. I found discrepancies, confronted him, and he offered me money to stay quiet. Wayne's voice was low, steady. I refused. He threatened to ruin my reputation if I went to the authorities. Why are you telling me this? Because that flash drive might contain proof, and because you deserve to know what kind of man you were married to. I pulled out the drive, turning it over in my hands. This doesn't explain the wedding dress. Wayne's expression darkened. That was Angela's idea. She found out you'd sold it and specifically tracked it down. She's not just Adam's girlfriend. She's his partner in everything. Including fraud? Especially that. She's the one who handles most of the offshore accounts. My head was spinning. Wait, back up. Adam's mother was at that party, watching Angela wear my dress. She had to know what they were doing. Olive doesn't just know, she introduced them. Wayne leaned closer. Vancouver last year? That was a setup. Olive had been pushing Angela at Adam for months. She never thought you were good enough for her son. The revelation hit like a physical blow. All those dinners with Olive, trying desperately to win her approval while she was actively working to replace me. How do you know all this? I asked, voice barely steady. Adam drinks, talks too much when he does. Wayne hesitated, and Angela and I dated briefly before she set her sights on Adam. I stared at him. So this is about revenge for you? Initially, maybe. He didn't flinch from my gaze. Now, it's about doing what's right. Adam's stealing from people who trust him. Elderly clients, family friends. I closed my fingers around the flash drive. If what you're saying is true, why not take this to the SEC yourself? Because they'll need more than just those files. They'll need testimony from someone on the inside. Wayne's eyes met mine. Someone like his ex-wife who had access to his home office, who might have noticed things. I didn't notice anything. Are you sure? Think back, Elena. The late-night calls he'd take in another room, the trips that never quite made sense. Memories surfaced. Adam insisting I never touch his work papers, the locked drawer in his desk, the unexplained cash deposits I'd glimpsed in our joint account before he moved all our finances to separate banks. I struggled for words. This is a lot. I know, and I'm sorry to dump it on you. Wayne looked genuinely apologetic. But when I saw you at that party, saw what they were doing to you. You were there? I interrupted. I didn't see you. I wasn't invited. I was meeting a friend at the hotel bar and saw you leave. Recognized that look on your face. His smile was grim. It's the same one I had when I realized who Adam really was. I took a long sip of my coffee, trying to process everything. What exactly are you suggesting I do? Help me build a case. Check what's on that drive. If there's evidence, we take it to the authorities together. And if I don't want to get involved? Wayne shrugged. That's your choice. But ask yourself, do you really want to let them win? Let them humiliate you and walk away clean? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed with a text. I glanced down and felt my stomach drop. Where are you? We need to talk. I'm outside your apartment. Adam. I showed Wayne the message. He knows, Wayne said quietly. Someone must have seen us. Or he's tracking my phone. A chill ran through me. He always knew my passwords. You need to be careful. Adam won't hesitate to destroy anyone who threatens him. Wayne stood. Don't go home. Not yet. I can't just disappear. No, but you can buy time. He pulled out his phone. Text him back. Tell him you're shopping or at the gym. Somewhere he can't easily check. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. This was the moment. Step into this conspiracy or walk away. I typed, at yoga. Need space after last night. Talk tomorrow? Adam's response was immediate. Fine. Dinner tomorrow, 7 p.m. We need to discuss some items of yours I found. I looked up at Wayne. He's bluffing, trying to see if I have the drive. Probably. Wayne held out his hand. So what's it going to be, Elena? Are you in? I pocketed the flash drive and stood up. I'm not giving you this, not yet, but I'll look at it myself. Fair enough. He nodded. But don't do it at home or on any device Adam might have access to. I'm not stupid. No, Wayne said, something like admiration in his eyes. I don't think you are. That's why they're scared of you. As I walked out, that thought settled into my bones. They were scared of me, not the other way around. And for the first time since seeing Angela in my wedding dress, I felt something close to power. I sat in Celeste's spare bedroom, staring at her laptop screen as files populated the window. My hands trembled slightly as I clicked through Adam's financial records, the reality of what I was seeing slowly sinking in. This can't be right, I muttered. Celeste leaned over my shoulder. What am I looking at? Two different account statements for the same time period. I pointed to the screen. This one shows a $50,000 loss for the Gardner Retirement Fund. This one shows a $120,000 gain. Maybe it's for different clients? I shook my head. Same account number. He's showing losses to some people and gains to others. I clicked through more files. There are dozens like this. And look, offshore transfers to accounts in the Caymans. Huh, holy shit! Celeste straightened. Your ex-husband is running a Ponzi scheme. The words hung in the air, making it all real. Adam wasn't just a cheater. He was a criminal. I lived with him for 6 years, I said quietly. How did I not see this? Because he didn't want you to. Celeste squeezed my shoulder. What are you going to do? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Phoebe, my younger sister. Hey, I need to take this. I stepped into the hallway. Phoebe, what's up? Where are you? Her voice was tight with tension. Adam's looking for you. He came by my place. My stomach dropped. What? Why? Said he needed to talk to you about some financial documents that went missing during your divorce. Said it was urgent. She paused. Elena, he seemed really on edge. What's going on? I closed my eyes, leaning against the wall. It's complicated. Did you tell him where I was? Of course not. I said we hadn't talked in days. Another pause. Which is true, by the way. You've been MIA since the divorce. The guilt hit hard. I had withdrawn from everyone, including my sister. I'm sorry, Phoebe. Things have been difficult. Yeah, well, difficulty seems to be following you. Adam brought his mother with him. Olive was there? Alarm shot through me. She spent the whole time making these little comments about how worried they are about your mental state since the divorce. How you've been acting erratically. Phoebe's voice hardened. They're setting something up, Elena. Creating a narrative? My mind raced. If Adam suspected I had evidence of his fraud, he'd do anything to discredit me. Phoebe, listen to me. Don't tell anyone you've spoken to me, okay? Not even Mom. You're scaring me. I'm fine. I just need some time to handle something. I took a deep breath. Do you trust me? You know I do. Then trust that I'm okay, and I'll explain everything soon. After hanging up, I returned to find Celeste staring at the laptop with a troubled expression. There's something else, she said, turning the screen toward me. Look at these emails. I scanned the correspondence between Adam and his mother. Plans for the Vancouver trip. Discussions about Angela. And then I saw my name. Elena's getting suspicious. We need to accelerate the timeline. Are the papers ready? Remember, we need to protect the assets before she finds anything. Don't worry about Elena. She trusts you completely. She'll sign whatever you put in front of her. The emails were dated 3 weeks before Adam asked for a divorce. They planned everything, I whispered. The separation, the divorce, all of it. Elena, Celeste hesitated. These divorce papers. Did you read them carefully before signing? I thought back to those awful days, signing whatever my lawyer put in front of me, just wanting it to be over. I trusted my attorney. Who recommended your attorney? The realization hit like ice water. Adam did. He said since he was the one leaving, he'd cover the legal fees. Celeste's expression confirmed my fear. You need to get copies of what you signed. My phone buzzed with a text from Adam. We need to talk tonight, not tomorrow. This is serious, Elena. Another text followed immediately. If you're worried about the IRS questions, I can help. Just need those backup files you might have. He's getting desperate, I said, showing Celeste. which makes him dangerous. She closed the laptop. You can't meet him. If I don't, he'll know something's wrong. I paced the small room. I need to buy time. For what? To figure out what to do with this information. I gestured to the laptop. Wayne wants to go to the SEC, but what if Adam has connections there too? What if no one believes me? Celeste considered this. What about Angela? Could she be turned against him? I remembered Angela's wink at the party. No, Wayne says she's in on everything. Then we need leverage, something that would make Adam back off. An idea formed. Risky, possibly reckless, but it might work. I need to go to my apartment, I said suddenly. What? No, Adam might be waiting there. Not for what you're thinking. I grabbed my coat. There's a hidden safe in my closet. Adam doesn't know about it. I kept insurance there. Insurance? After I found lipstick on his collar 2 years ago, I started keeping records. Screenshots of suspicious texts I saw on his phone. Recordings of conversations where he discussed clients. I met Celeste's concerned gaze. I never used them because I wanted to believe him when he said nothing was happening. But they're there. That's still too dangerous. I'll be careful. Text Adam and tell him I'm meeting him at that Italian place he likes at ADL's. That gives me time to get in and out of my apartment. And if he's already there? Then I'll deal with it. I felt a strange calm settling over me. I'm done running from him, Celeste. As I headed for the door, my phone buzzed with another message. Not from Adam this time, but Wayne. Angela just called me. They know we met. Be careful. They're pulling bank records to see if you've accessed any accounts. Don't go home. Too late. I was already halfway to my car, determination hardening into something stronger. For 6 years, Adam had written our story. Now I was taking back the pen. Rain pounded the windshield as I parked a block from my apartment building. Perfect weather for what I was about to do. Dark enough to provide cover, miserable enough to keep people indoors. I pulled my hood up and checked my phone one last time. 8:15 p.m. Adam would be at the restaurant by now, checking his watch, growing increasingly irritated as I failed to show. Good. I moved quickly through the rain, scanning for his car or any sign of Olive. The street was clear, but anxiety still crawled up my spine as I approached my building. This was either very smart or incredibly stupid. The lobby was empty. I took the stairs instead of the elevator, not wanting to announce my arrival with a ding. At my door, I paused, listening. Silence. I unlocked it as quietly as possible and slipped inside. My apartment felt different, like someone else's space. Had Adam been here? I moved through the darkened rooms, not daring to turn on lights, using my phone's flashlight to navigate to my bedroom closet. The safe was hidden behind a false panel at the back, installed years ago when I'd briefly dated a security consultant. I'd never told Adam about it, my one secret in a relationship where he demanded total transparency. I slid the panel aside and entered the combination. Inside lay a small fireproof box containing exactly what I'd come for: a USB drive, a small recording device, and a folder of printed documents. As I reached for them, a floorboard creaked behind me. I whirled around, heart hammering. Looking for something? Angela stood in my bedroom doorway, silhouetted against the hall light she'd switched on. I clutched the box to my chest. What are you doing in my apartment? Waiting for you. She stepped forward, surprisingly calm. Adam thought you might come here. So he sent his attack dog while he hides at the restaurant? I backed up against the closet. Classy. Adam doesn't know I'm here. She perched on the edge of my bed, looking oddly at home. I came on my own. That caught me off guard. Why? Because we need to talk, woman to woman. She gestured to the box in my arms. About whatever you think you have there, and about what I'm wearing. You mean my wedding dress? The anger I'd been suppressing flared. Was that your idea or his? Mine. She didn't even have the decency to look ashamed. I wanted to see you up close. The woman Adam couldn't stop talking about even after you were gone. If you came to gloat, I came to warn you. Her voice sharpened. You have no idea what you're getting into, Elena. Adam isn't just angry, he's scared. And that makes him dangerous. I studied her face, trying to read her angle. Why would you care? Because I've seen what happens to people who threaten him. She twisted the engagement ring on her finger. His last assistant found some discrepancies in the books. Asked too many questions. Now she can't get hired anywhere in finance. Is that supposed to scare me? It should. Adam has powerful friends. He's already talking to people about your fragile mental state since the divorce, the same narrative Olive had been feeding Phoebe. I felt cold despite the stuffiness of the room. Wayne told you about the fraud, didn't he? Angela continued. About the 2 sets of books? I kept my expression neutral. Why would Wayne tell me anything? Don't play dumb. We know you met with him. She leaned forward. What you don't know is that Wayne isn't the white knight he pretends to be. He was happy to look the other way until Adam passed him over for promotion. You're lying. Am I? Ask him about the Dennison account. Ask him where that money really went. My grip tightened on the box. If you're trying to confuse me, I'm trying to give you an out. Angela stood up. Walk away, Elena. Give Adam whatever files you have, sign a non-disclosure agreement, and he'll make it worth your while. You think I can be bought? Everyone has a price. She shrugged. Yours is $500,000. Enough to start over somewhere new. The offer hung in the air between us. $500,000 to forget what I'd seen. To let them continue stealing from people who trusted them. Why the wedding dress? I asked suddenly. If this is about buying me off, why humiliate me first? Something flickered across her face. Discomfort, maybe even guilt. That was a miscalculation. Adam said it would help break your confidence. She looked away. I didn't realize how it would feel, wearing another woman's memories. But you did it anyway. Yes. Her eyes met mine again, harder now. Because that's what it takes to survive in Adam's world. Compromise, sacrifice, doing things that make you hate yourself a little. The rain drummed against the windows, filling the silence between us. Is that what you want? I asked quietly. To survive in Adam's world? For a moment, her mask slipped. I saw uncertainty, maybe even fear. Then it was gone. What I want doesn't matter anymore. She moved toward the door. You have 24 hours to decide. After that, Adam will do whatever it takes to protect himself. And what about you? Will you do whatever it takes to protect him? She paused in the doorway. I'll do whatever it takes to protect myself. Her eyes flicked to the box in my hands. Just like you're doing. After she left, I stood frozen, listening to her footsteps fade down the hallway. The apartment door opened and closed. I sank onto my bed, mind racing. Angela's warning seemed genuine, but so did her threat, and her comment about Wayne troubled me. What if he wasn't the ally I thought? My phone buzzed with a text from Adam. Where are you? We had a deal. Then another. Just talked to Angela. Smart move coming home. Let's meet tomorrow. My office, 10 a.m. So Angela had already reported back to him. Whatever moment of honesty we'd shared was over. I opened the box and examined its contents. The recordings, the documents, evidence of Adam's indiscretions, but nothing concrete about the fraud. Not enough to protect me if he came after me with everything he had. I needed more, and I knew exactly where to get it. I texted Wayne. We need to talk about the Dennison account. His response was immediate. Who told you about that? Your move, Wayne, I wrote back. Either you're with me or you're with them. Wayne chose a diner on the outskirts of town for our meeting, the kind of place with sticky laminate menus and waitresses who called everyone Hun. I arrived first, sliding into a back booth with a clear view of both entrances. My evidence box sat beside me, a physical reminder of what was at stake. I'd barely slept after my encounter with Angela, her warnings mixing with memories of Adam until I couldn't separate truth from manipulation. Wayne arrived looking worse than I felt, unshaven, dark circles under his eyes, constantly glancing over his shoulder. You're being followed, he said without preamble, sliding into the booth. What? How do you know? Because I've been followed for 3 days. He ordered coffee when the waitress approached, then leaned forward. Black sedan, 2 men. They're parked across the street. I resisted the urge to look. Adam's doing? Probably. After you texted about Dennison, I knew they'd made contact. His eyes dropped to the box. Is that what I think it is? Depends what you think it is. I kept my hand firmly on the lid. Before we go any further, I need the truth about Dennison. Wayne's jaw tightened. Who told you about that account? Angela paid me a visit last night. Said you weren't as innocent as you pretend to be. He laughed without humor. Of course she did. They're trying to turn us against each other. So there's nothing to tell? The waitress delivered his coffee. Wayne waited until she was out of earshot. Dennison was one of Adam's first fraudulent accounts, 5 years ago. He stirred his coffee without drinking it. I helped set it up. That's what Angela wanted you to know. The admission hung between us. I'd expected denials, not confession. So you were part of this? Yes. Before I understood what Adam was really doing. Wayne's knuckles whitened around his mug. He said it was a tax strategy for a difficult client. By the time I realized we were stealing from people's retirement funds, I was already implicated. Why should I trust you now? Because I'm the only one with nothing left to lose. He finally met my eyes. Adam took everything, my career, my reputation. All I have left is the chance to make this right. I studied him, searching for deception. Found only exhaustion and something that looked like regret. What's in the box, Elena? I hesitated, then opened it. Evidence of Adam's affairs. Recordings of him discussing clients inappropriately. Nothing concrete about the fraud. It's not enough. Wayne shook his head. Adam will claim you doctored the recordings out of spite. So what do? We need to get into his office computer. The real records are there, password protected. Wayne lowered his voice. And we need to move fast. Word is the SEC might already be looking into the firm. Isn't that what we want? Not if Adam destroys evidence first. Or worse, frames someone else. His eyes met mine. Like his unstable ex-wife who's been acting erratically since their divorce. The same narrative Olive had been spreading. I felt sick. I'm meeting Adam at his office today at 10, I said. He thinks I'm returning the flash drive. That's too dangerous. It's also our only chance to access his computer. I leaned forward. I'll distract him. You tell me exactly what to look for and where. Wayne started to protest, then stopped, considering. It could work, but you'll need this. He slid a small device across the table. It's a keystroke logger. If you can get it plugged into his computer, it will capture his passwords. I pocketed it, heart racing. What about the men following you? I'll lose them. I've done it before. He glanced at his watch. You should go, take a different route back, just in case. As I gathered my things, Wayne caught my wrist. Elena, there's something else you should know. About Angela. What about her? She wasn't just Adam's mistress. She was Olive's goddaughter. His expression was grim. This whole thing, your marriage, the divorce, it might have been planned from the beginning. The diner seemed to tilt around me. That's not possible. We were married for 6 years. Long cons take time, especially when there's serious money involved. Wayne released my wrist. Just be careful. Trust no one. I left the diner in a daze, Wayne's words echoing. Could my entire marriage have been a setup? It seemed too elaborate, too cruel even for Adam. Yet as I drove toward the office building that had once been like a second home, memories resurfaced with new context. How Adam had pursued me relentlessly after we met at a charity event, Olive's charity event. How he'd insisted I quit my job at a competing firm to avoid conflicts of interest. How he'd managed our finances from day one. By the time I pulled into the parking garage, a cold clarity had settled over me. Whether Wayne was right about everything or not, one thing was certain. I'd been played. My phone buzzed with a text from Celeste. Are you sure about this? We could still go to the police. I typed back. With what? They'll believe Adam over me. I need proof. Be careful. Call me the second you're out. I tucked my phone away and checked my reflection in the rearview mirror. I looked calm, collected, nothing like the turmoil inside me. The security guard nodded as I entered the building, recognizing me from my years as Adam's wife. Mrs. Warren, haven't seen you in ages. It's Ms. Warren now, Rick. I forced a smile. Just stopping by to drop something off. Mr. Warren's expecting you. Go right up. The elevator ride to the 12th floor gave me time to steady my breathing, to rehearse my approach. I needed to appear conciliatory, maybe even a little afraid. When the doors opened, Angela was waiting. Elena. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Adam's on a call. He asked me to get you settled in his office. How convenient. She led me down the hallway, heels clicking on marble. Did you consider our offer? I'm here, aren't I? At Adam's office door, she paused. For what it's worth, I meant what I said last night. About being careful. Before I could respond, the door opened and Adam appeared, phone still pressed to his ear. I'll call you back, he said to whoever was on the line. His eyes locked on mine, cold and calculating. Elena, right on time. As I stepped into his office, I felt the weight of every decision that had led to this moment. There would be no going back after today. Let's talk, I said, closing the door behind me. Adam's office hadn't changed. The same mahogany desk, the same view of the city skyline, the same photo of us on our honeymoon that he'd never bothered to remove. I wondered if clients found it reassuring, this fiction of a happy marriage preserved in a silver frame. You look tired, he said, gesturing for me to sit. I remained standing. Funny how fraud investigations will do that to a person. His smile faltered for just a moment, before returning, tighter than before. Always so dramatic, Elena. There's no investigation. Not yet. We studied each other across the expanse of his desk. I'd once found his confidence attractive. Now I saw it for what it was, the practiced ease of a man accustomed to getting away with everything. Do you have what I asked for? He held out his hand. I reached into my bag and produced the flash drive. Not the one with the evidence, but an identical decoy Wayne had provided. Before I give you this, I want answers. I kept my voice steady. About Angela, about the wedding dress, about all of it. Adam sighed, lowering his hand. What do you want to know? How long were you planning to replace me? It wasn't like that. Wasn't it? Angela is Olive's goddaughter. That's quite a coincidence. Something flickered in his eyes. Surprise that I knew, quickly masked. Who told you that? Does it matter? It's true, isn't it? He leaned back in his chair. Yes, Angela is Olive's goddaughter, but that has nothing to do with us. So you didn't meet her through your mother? Weren't pushed together at every opportunity? I stepped closer to his desk. Wasn't groomed to take my place? You're creating conspiracies where there are none. Adam stood, moving to the window. Our marriage ended because we wanted different things. You were obsessed with having a baby, with fitting some perfect family mold. I went through IVF because you wanted children. The words burst out before I could stop them. You were the one who talked about legacy, about carrying on the Warren name. And you were the one who failed to deliver. The cruelty in his voice was casual, practiced. 3 rounds of IVF, Elena. All that money spent, and nothing to show for it. The room seemed to tilt. We'd never spoken so bluntly about our fertility struggles. In all our fights, he'd never directly blamed me. So that's why you cheated? Because I couldn't get pregnant? I cheated because you were no longer the woman I married. He turned back to face me. You became obsessed, desperate. It wasn't attractive. Each word was a precision strike, targeting old insecurities. I recognized the technique now, the way he'd always twisted arguments to make me doubt myself. Not this time. I placed the flash drive on his desk. You know what I think? I think you never wanted children with me. I think it was a convenient excuse to make me feel inadequate while you set up your exit strategy. That's absurd. Is it? Because the timeline works perfectly. You push for IVF, knowing the hormones will make me emotional. You use that to paint me as unstable. Meanwhile, you're embezzling from clients and setting up Angela as my replacement. Adam's expression hardened. You need to be very careful about what you're implying, Elena. Or what? You'll ruin me? Spread rumors about my mental health? I laughed, the sound sharp in the quiet office. You're already doing that. He moved toward me, stopping just inches away. Give me the real flash drive, not this decoy. My heart stuttered. He knew. I don't know what you're talking about. Wayne isn't as loyal as you think. Adam smiled coldly. He called me this morning, told me everything. The betrayal hit like a physical blow. Wayne had set me up. All those warnings about being careful, about trust, while he was playing both sides. I needed to get out of there. We're done here. I turned toward the door. Adam caught my arm, fingers digging in. We're done when I say we're done. The old Elena would have flinched, would have tried to placate him. The new Elena twisted out of his grip and stepped back. Don't touch me. Or what? He advanced again. What exactly do you think you can do to me, Elena? I have everything. The money, the connections, the credibility. You have nothing. I have the truth. The truth? He laughed. No one cares about the truth. They care about perception. And the perception is that you're a bitter ex-wife trying to destroy me because I moved on. As he spoke, I noticed his computer on the desk behind him. The keystroke logger felt heavy in my pocket. I needed to distract him. The wedding dress, I said suddenly. Why did you do that? The question caught him off guard. What? Why have Angela wear my wedding dress? What was the point of that cruelty? Something like satisfaction crossed his face. Because I wanted to see if you still cared, if you still had feelings for me. That's pathetic. Is it? You showed up. You let it hurt you. He stepped closer again. You still love me, Elena. That's your problem. You always will. The arrogance, the absolute certainty in his voice ignited something in me. Not anger, but clarity. In that moment, I saw him completely. Not the man I'd loved, but the hollow shell I'd projected my hopes onto. No, Adam, I don't love you. I met his gaze steadily. I don't even know you, and I'm not sure I ever did. Confusion flickered across his face, quickly replaced by anger. Enough games. Where's the real flash drive? With people you can't reach. I took a deliberate step toward his desk, toward his computer. People who already have copies of everything. You're bluffing. Am I? I picked up the photo of us from his desk. You know what's interesting about this frame? It's the one I gave you for our first anniversary, the one with the hidden compartment. His eyes widened slightly. I'd struck a nerve. What hidden compartment? I turned the frame over, pressing the secret latch I'd shown him years ago. A latch he'd apparently forgotten. The back panel slid open, revealing a small recording device, the one that's been recording this entire conversation. I smiled as his face drained of color. Including your admission about Angela and your mother. Give me that. He lunged for the frame. I sidestepped him, using his momentum to slip behind his desk. In one fluid motion, I plugged the keystroke logger into his computer. It's over, Adam. I backed toward the door, frame in hand. You, Angela, your mother. You all underestimated me. That was your mistake. His face contorted with rage. Security! He shouted toward the door. Security! I yanked open the door to find Angela standing there, face pale. Move, I told her. To my surprise, she stepped aside. As I walked past her, she whispered, The Cayman accounts. Password is Olive Garden 1956. I froze for a split second, processing her betrayal. Of Adam, not me. Behind us, Adam was still shouting. Security would arrive any moment. Why? I asked her. Her eyes met mine, resolute. Because you're right. It is over. I ran. The conference room at the SEC offices felt sterile and impersonal. all glass and chrome, designed to intimidate. I sat straight-backed in an uncomfortable chair, surrounded by serious-faced agents reviewing the evidence I'd provided. "And you obtained this password how, exactly?" Agent Reeves asked, not looking up from her notes. An anonymous tip." I kept my promise to Angela. Whatever her reasons for helping me, I wouldn't expose her. "Convenient." Agent Reeves didn't sound convinced. "The evidence speaks for itself." I gestured to the screens where Adam's financial records were displayed. The Cayman accounts, the double books, the client statements, it's all there. Along with your recording of Mr. Warren essentially admitting to setting you up. Agent Reeves finally met my eyes. That was resourceful. I didn't tell her about the keystroke logger. Some details were better left unshared. "What happens now?" I asked. "We continue our investigation. Mr. Warren and several associates have been brought in for questioning." She closed her folder. "You're free to go, Ms. Warren. We'll be in touch if we need anything else." Outside, the October air felt crisp and clean after the stifling conference room. I checked my phone. 3 missed calls from Celeste, 1 from Phoebe, and a text from Wayne. "Need to talk. Meet me?" After his betrayal, Wayne was the last person I wanted to see, but curiosity won out. I texted back, "Where?" His response came immediately, "The bench." "You know the one." I did know. It was where we'd first discussed Adam's fraud. A public place, safely neutral. Wayne was already waiting when I arrived, looking more haggard than ever. He stood when he saw me, uncertainty in every line of his body. "I wasn't sure you'd come." I almost didn't. I remained standing, keeping distance between us. "Adam said you called him, warned him about me." "I did." Wayne didn't try to deny it. "But not for the reason you think." "Enlighten me." I needed him to believe I was still on his side. It was the only way to get access to his private server. Wayne pulled out his phone, showing me an email. "I sent this to the SEC yesterday morning, before you went to Adam's office." I scanned the email, detailed instructions for accessing Adam's hidden accounts, including server locations and passwords. "You set him up," I realized. "Used me as a distraction while you gathered the final evidence." "Used" is a strong word. Wayne pocketed his phone. "I knew you were smart enough to handle Adam, and I knew he'd be focused on you, not on what I was doing." "You could have told me." "Would you have agreed to it? To being the decoy?" I considered this. "Probably not." "Exactly." He gestured to the bench. "Can we sit, please?" I hesitated, then sat at the far end. Wayne took the hint and kept his distance. "There's something else you should know," he said. "About Angela. She gave me the password to the Cayman accounts." Surprise flickered across his face. "She did?" "Right after I left Adam's office. She turned on him." I studied Wayne's reaction. "You didn't know?" "No." He looked genuinely shocked. "I thought she was loyal to the end." "Apparently not." I remembered the resolve in Angela's eyes. "I think she was tired of being controlled." "By Adam?" "By all of them. Adam, Olive." I trailed off, pieces clicking into place. "Did you know Olive was involved in the fraud too?" Wayne nodded. "She was the one who brought in the wealthy clients, old money families who trusted the Warren name. The full scope of their operation was still unfolding, a family business built on lies and theft, and I had been an unwitting part of it." "What will you do now?" Wayne asked. The question caught me off guard. I'd been so focused on exposing Adam that I hadn't thought beyond this moment. "I don't know," I admitted. "Start over, I guess." "For what it's worth, I'm sorry." Wayne's voice was quiet. "For not being honest with you." I should have been angry. Instead, I felt a strange sense of peace. We all did what we had to do. I stood, ready to leave this bench and everything it represented behind. "Goodbye, Wayne." Phoebe's apartment was warm and chaotic, exactly what I needed after the sterile SEC offices. She opened the door and immediately pulled me into a fierce hug. "I saw the news," she said into my hair. Adam's firm is under federal investigation. That was you, wasn't it? Part of it. I followed her inside, where Celeste was already waiting, an open bottle of wine on the coffee table. The avenging angel returns, Celeste said, pouring me a glass. How does it feel? I took the wine, considering. Unfinished. What do you mean? Phoebe settled beside me. Adam's going down, you won. It's not about winning. I took a sip, letting the warmth spread through me. There's one more thing I need to do. The storage facility was on the outskirts of town. Anonymous, secure, forgettable. I entered the code and rolled up the door to Unit 247. Inside sat a single garment bag. I unzipped it slowly, revealing my wedding dress. The real one. I'd never sold it to any consignment shop. That had been a story I told my therapist, my friends, myself. The truth was, I hadn't been ready to let go. Until now. I lifted the dress, feeling its weight one last time. The beadwork caught the fluorescent light, memories shimmering across the fabric, some beautiful, some painful, all part of me. From my bag, I took out a small card and a pen. I wrote a simple message, then attached it to the dress. Outside, I placed the garment bag carefully in a donation box for a women's shelter that provided professional clothing for job interviews and special occasions. Someone else would make new memories in this dress. Better ones. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Warren Investment CEO and CFO indicted on multiple fraud charges. I didn't need to read it. That chapter was closed. As I walked to my car, I felt lighter than I had in years. Adam had taken many things from me, my trust, my confidence, years of my life, but he'd never taken my resilience. That had always been mine. My phone rang. The caller ID showed a number I didn't recognize. Hello? Ms. Warren? This is Diane from Horizon Marketing. We received your application and would like to schedule an interview. The job I'd applied for last week, a fresh start in a new city. Yes, I said, smiling into the phone. I'm available. As I drove away, I thought about the note I'd left with the wedding dress. The past doesn't define you. Neither do the people who couldn't see your worth. This dress deserves a better story. So do you. So did I.